Yo, what's up everybody, it's your boy, Elvious Void, coming in with part 6 to What If Naruto was the reincarnation of Yoriichi. So yeah, this will be the last part of the series, which will be ending it. I might go into Boruto for this series, but we'll see, because I do have other What Ifs planned. So yeah, let's just go right into this. It begins with Toby declaring war on the 5 Kage, as well as the leader of the Land of Iron, and honestly, with them refusing as well to surrender the Nine Tails for the Eye of the Moon plan. He then states that the world would use he would use the 8-tailed beasts that has already been captured by the Akatsuki in combating the ninja world. After this, the 5th Kazekage, the 5th Mizukage, the 4th Raikage, and the 3rd Tsuchikage, as well as the General Mifune, all agreed to form a Shinobi alliance, pulling all their resources into fighting against Toby, or as they think now is Madara. Later, the daimyo of the 5 great shinobi countries approved the correlation with the 5 Kages joining with the alliance, while Orochimaru, who is now using different techniques to repair his severed legs, would form an alliance with Toby after he agreed to help Orochimaru in reviving his body to its peak condition. Both factions begin by gathering their resources and collecting intelligence about the other side, preparing for the upcoming hostilities. With Kisame already being dead by now and Killer Bee is also gone, all that stuff would be different, and Anko Mitarashi and her team would then go to track Orochimaru, which led them to Toby's headquarters. Another Shinobi Alliance team had fanned out to collect the other information about the Akatsuki and their hideouts. At the start, Orochimaru had formed an alliance with Toby, demonstrating his use of the summoning impure world reincarnation technique, and is increasing the forces of the Akatsuki with the reincarnation of the deceased members of the organization. Most of the 5 Kage have already decided to hide the remaining Jinchuriki, Naruto, on an island in the Land of Lightning. Hiding Naruto also had the unintentional result of allowing Naruto to continue to learn how to fully control the Nine Tails, with him and Kurama, who had already given Naruto his name, had formed a great relationship, as Naruto was unlike anybody he had ever seen, and reminded him of the old man, who was kind and caring, and didn't have any non-pure intentions for the tailed beasts, and he wanting to create a better world for them. Having been successful in his training, Naruto exhibited great speed and strength when utilizing the control of the chakra of the Nine Tails, Kurama, being able to fully use the KCM2, and is starting to align that with Sage Mode to create KCM2 with Sage Mode, as well as him also improving, because of the chakra, also improving his Demon Slayer mark. With the fight between the two forces seeming to be on the horizon, Toby dispatched Orochimaru to retrieve the Nine Tails with the reincarnated Deidara, as well as some of the other members. I think just Deidara would suffice, but was stopped by Inoki and all the other people who were sent to reinforce the forces of the Island Turtle, where Naruto is at. Orochimaru escaped with Yamato, further adding to the intelligence forces that the Akatsuki has in the Shinobi Alliance, and also strengthening the White Zetsu army clones, which utilize Yamato's power of wood release in the first Hokage's DNA cells that were implanted into him. Both the allied shinobi forces and the Akatsuki have amassed considerable forces for the war, 80,000 shinobi and samurai total to make up the alliance versus 100,000 Zetsu clones and reincarnated shinobi supplied by Orochimaru, making up Toby's army. After everything else, that really goes the same, with all those fights in between. Naruto finding out about everything that's happening, he would also go and be stopped by the 4th Raikage as well as Tsunade, and would be able to easily blitz past him, barely even using the Nine Tails chakra, as he is so much faster and so much more adept in different techniques to be faster than the 4th Raikage. With Naruto then using his clones, summoning clones, to go into different sections of the war to help in the avenging battle against Zetsu clones. After emerging from his coffin, Madara Uchiha believed that he had been brought back by Nagato using the outer path, the heavenly technique of life, until Mu reveals the technique to be the impure world reincarnation. When Madara questions Mu about the use of the technique's ability, Orochimaru takes full control of the Kage, or the former one, to explain to the reincarnated Uchiha that he had been brought back to life and had enhancements to give him the greater power than what he actually had in his prime. News of this events reaches the 4th division located with Gaara leading the attack as Madara counters with a widespread fire technique, which is countered and combined usage of water formation wall by several different shinobi. With Naruto's clone being there, the fight would take a drastic turn for the Alliance, with Naruto being able to use KCM2 as well as using the Breath of the Sun, would rush towards Madara and begin a fight with him, with Madara being impressed with the finesse and power of Naruto and him actually having to try using his full power. Naruto, however, wants to end this fight quickly as he doesn't want any more people to die during this fight. Would again rush at him and would try to finish Madara off using the 13th form of the sun breathing. Madara, seeing that this would in fact kill him, as he had gotten information from Orochimaru that his sword is a direct counter towards healing properties for some unknown reason, and would say that it is possibly due to Naruto's blade turning red whenever he's in a fight. Madara's response by this is activating his Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and blocking his attack with his Susanoo, and then goes on to continue decimating the division's forces, as well as Naruto dodging, however, these attacks, as well as trying to absorb and not allow these attacks to hit many of the other division forces. With Naruto and his KCM2 stacked with Sage Mode now, he would be able to break and destroy the Susanoo ribcage as well as the actual body of it, and would cut down Madara by his waist, winning the fight. With Orochimaru, who can see all this, not physically being there but through Mu's eyes, would kind of reverse summon him in a way, as his chakra is still connected to Madara in a sense, and would use a reverse summoning techniques to get Madara out of there, as he is still his ace towards both Obito, who he still thinks is Tobi, as well as all the other shinobi forces. Naruto, annoyed by this, mumbles to himself that when it truly matters, he can never finish off his enemy before he ends up disappearing or running away, which really annoys Naruto. For some reason, this also stirs in the back of his mind, not only reminding him, but the same type of thing happening with Yoriichi. He doesn't see this at all, but he still has that feeling in the back of his mind. With Madara being summoned back to where he was before, he is preparing to be resummoned so he can have full health, and would then devise a plan to not meet with Naruto until he is ready, until he and Obito, who he is by this time controlling with that weird sealing thing in his heart, to end him and take the Nine Tails from him. Madara, who is now back to full health, as well as some time passing back, would then go to meet with the 5 Kage, as they had all meet in the one place where they would fight originally, and he would go down to absolutely dog watering them, using his Susanoo and Wind clones to absolutely decimate the 5 Kage as usual. But because he does have the subtle fear of Naruto getting in the way of his plans, he would dispatch the 5 Kage much quicker, and would end up actually killing them all, as he does not want to waste any more time with them, and would go on to go find Obito and help devise a plan with him to revive the Ten Tails. Back with the real Naruto, who has now gotten the information from his clones who fought Madara, would tell Kakashi and Guy that his clone had defeated Madara, and that that clone had been resummoned by Orochimaru, who they had gotten information that he was the source of all this. Tobi, aka Obito, would be surprised by this, but wouldn't be shown through the mask, and he didn't actually think that Naruto, who had just now met with Obito now, didn't realize that he was so strong that he would be able to defeat Madara Uchiha, his sensei of some sort, with only his clone. Naruto, who didn't want anyone else to die in this war, would rush towards Obito, and knowing of his Kamui, would try somehow to bypass it using different fighting techniques and figuring out the weakness of Kamui. With Naruto during the fight finding out that Kakashi, as well as through Kurama in his mind, would tell Naruto that Kakashi's Sharingan is connected to the masked man's, and would use the same type of thing with Naruto using the flame dance, and with Kakashi there also using his Mangekyo Sharingan Kamui, would allow Naruto to be able to hit Obito with his mask, and his mask would fall off and a large slash and wound would appear on his face. But because of Hashirama cells, they would and Naruto not using the red blade at this moment, would be able to heal at a very slow rate, as it is still a healing negating type of thing, as it still has residue of the red blade. Naruto, annoyed by not being able to fully cut and kill Obito, would now use his red blade fully and would continue the fight with him fully using KCM2 and Sage Mode, as well as stacking the mark. Naruto would be able to see the slight twitches in Obito's chakra for when he is about to use Kamui, and would fight with that in mind. With Kakashi and Guy with support, the fight would be heavily into Naruto's side. Elsewhere, Sasuke and Sakura are fighting Zetsu clones, and would be saving a lot of the shinobi's lives where they are, and would be going directly to where Naruto and Obito are, as they had gotten some information from some of the Yamanakas that Naruto, Kakashi, as well as Guy are fighting the Madara Uchiha during the time, so they would be going straight towards them, but they would be intercepted and confronted by Itachi and Nagato. Itachi would see his brother and would start to fight him, as well as Nagato joining. Sakura, using the Breath of the Stone in her fight, would use the third form, and during this time would activate her Demon Slayer mark, which would be a type of tattoo across her arms. And with her combining her chakra diamond seal thing, I forgot what it's called, a massive chakra increase would happen, with her being able to sustain it on a much longer rate than what someone of her normal chakra reserves would have had. And she would be able to partially type of hold off Nagato, but not like so much. Itachi and Sasuke would be fighting, and during this time, a crow would crawl out of Sasuke's mouth and would perform Koto Matsukami on Itachi. For some plot reasons, I'm doing this. A, because Itachi did not meet Naruto in the sense that he would give the crow to him, and for plot reasons as well, Itachi would have given that crow with Shisui's eye to Sasuke during their fight when he was actually alive. And with that really happening, and Sasuke also telling that he killed Danzo for stealing Shisui's eyes, Itachi would find himself to tell Sasuke the truth of the massacre, as he'd already gotten the type of situation from Danzo, and would tell Sasuke that he is a great friend of Naruto as well as Sakura. So yeah, with that going on, with Itachi, Sasuke, and Sakura, who are all very, very strong, they'll be able to, beat up Nagato, and they would dispatch him and leave to go find Orochimaru to stop the summoning of the impure world. They would go off, and they would find Orochimaru's lair, and the same type of fight would happen with what would happen with Kabuto, but instead it would be Orochimaru who would be much weaker than Kabuto actually, and Itachi would still use his that technique. I've honestly forgotten what it's called. It's a really overpowered technique of the Sharingan. But anyway, we'll just carry on with that. With the revival jutsu being stopped, we'll be going back with Obito. Madara comes back to see and meet up with Obito, and a talk would happen with him and Naruto. And with Naruto not having any of it, Naruto's face is still dull, but the power surrounding Naruto is different, as it is not violent, but it is just powerful. With not being able to get Naruto, they decided that they would just revive the Ten Tails with those two slivers of the Nine Tails chakra from those brothers, reviving the Ten Tails in moments. because they already had all the Jinchuriki in the demonic statue, and with Obito now becoming the host of the Ten Tails. Madara during this time would also be desummoned, but would cancel it, as you know, he's just too strong and too beefy. He's just a different breed. Naruto would rush at Obito, and with the amount of speed Naruto has, he would be able to blitz Obito, because in the original, again, he's so much stronger, and with his sword, he's able to combine it with Sage Arts and be able to cut through the truth-seeking orbs, because he's also using KCM2 as well as the Sage mode stacked onto it, and he would be able to strike down Obito, as he also cannot use Kamui during his time as the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. Because of this, subsequently, Obito would lose control of the Ten Tails, and the 8-tailed beast as well as some of the 9 tails chakra would be released into the world, and some of it, during the Sword Slash, would seep into Naruto, activating one of the requirements to get six paths mode, but that will come later. With Obito now defeated and the tailed beasts are now out, Zetsu comes down from the ground and takes control of Obito's body, and before he can die, uses the outer path to revive Madara and gives him one of the Rinnegan. Madara, who is now revived and has one of the Rinnegan, would use his limbo and would absolutely rock the 8 other tailed beasts, but not being able to get fully Naruto, and he would just, as Naruto would be able to see this coming and would dodge, but a partial amount of the 9 tails chakra would have been licked, and the chains would have taken some of it, not taking the full 9 tails as the original would state. With power scaling kind of happening now towards how strong people are, Madara, who has now absorbed and revived the 10 tails, as again, you know, would also be stronger at this time than Naruto by quite a large margin. With Madara, who wants to have the 9 tails to complete the 10 tails in its full, would use his limbos as well as himself and would rush towards Naruto, and with Naruto being able to barely see this, as he wouldn't be able to react fast enough, even with the 9 tails KCM2 as well as Sage mode and his Demon Slayer mark, would try to block it, but it would inevitably be stabbed, and more of the 9 tails chakra would be absorbed using the Rinnegan. But Naruto would be so weakened, and because of this, Naruto would be so weakened that he would pass out and would be near death. Madara would then go to target Obito and would take his second Rinnegan back. It would now be a full power 2 Rinnegan 10 tails Jinchuriki, and would try to start his plan of the Eye of the Moon. With this happening, Naruto is in a void. It would meet a pale white old man, and that man would be Hagoromo Otsutsuki, the sage's 6 paths. Hagoromo would tell Naruto that he is a weird existence, one of 2 in the world, as he is both the reincarnation of both his son, Ashura, and some unknown man known by Yoriichi Kakatsuchi. I think that's how you say his name. Anyway, the same type of talk would happen, and Sasuke as well at the same time, who is running to where Naruto is, would also pass out. This is for just, you know, plot reasons as well. Coming to the same type of void where Naruto is, not in the same place, but, you know, the same type of thing as the original. And Hagoromo would say the exact same chat, telling him that he is also a weird existence, as he is also the reincarnation of his son Indra, but also another being named Kokoshibo, as you would know is the upper rank 1 moon, the brother of Yoriichi. And he would give him the moon seal, and Naruto getting the sun seal. With this, Naruto wakes up to a fight, to Madara floating in the air, fighting with Might Guy, who has opened the 8th gate of death. As Guy dies during this fight subsequently, Naruto teleports to him at much greater speeds, saving him, using the sun seal to save and make his heart beat once again. Naruto would look over to Madara, who is laughing, saying that Guy was truly one of the best taijutsuists that he has ever seen in his life. Naruto, who is annoyed by Madara's very existence itself, would blitz towards Madara, and in his hand is not his normal sword, but a truth-seeking orb formed into a blade, which is much stronger than his original blade that he had, and that blade would also turn bright red at where the actual cutting part is, and he would strike Madara, and the fight would happen. Madara, who was also using his staff to block the attack from Naruto, would constantly be on the defense, as Naruto at this time is very strong, as all of his actual stats had been boosted to a dramatic amount. And Naruto who is also using his Demon Slayer mark at full capacity, will be able to see everything Madara is doing in slow motion, as he can see where the blood is going, where the chakra is going, and the muscles that twitch at the very sight of where he's going to attack, like what the actual mark does in the see-through world. Naruto, wanting to get this over and done with, as too many people have died for him during this time, he would use the 13th form, Breath of the Sun, and would wear down Madara, constantly slashing him down. But because the 10 tails regeneration is like super powerful, and I'd arguably say that it might be stronger than Muzan's regeneration. Like it's a iffy thing if you're parascaling during that stuff, but I would say that it's maybe a little stronger, but I don't know fully. Anyway, Naruto would constantly be cutting him down. While that's happening, Sasuke would appear with his one Rinnegan, as well as his 6 paths mode. Not really like it's just like the base stats type of thing, and would join Naruto, and using his blade would use the moon breathing first form to cut Madara using the evening palace and a whole bunch of crescent moons enhanced with 6 path chakra, as well as a Mataratsu, would fly towards Madara and would start to cut him down as well. With 2 of them, both Sasuke and Naruto, being there, they would absolutely overpower Madara, as Madara cannot catch up the amount of damage that he is taking, and cannot deal enough damage and output towards Naruto and Sasuke to cut them down. With Naruto and Sasuke finally using their last not really last amount of breath, but their last forms. Again, 13th form Naruto is constantly using, as well as Sasuke using the last form of the Breath of the Moon, that would once and for all cut down Madara. With Madara about to die, as he cannot regenerate anymore and has lost his ability of the 10 tails, all the 9 tails beasts would explode out of his body, and the Kiromazu statue would be placed out again. With Naruto not wanting Zetsu to escape, as he still considers him a part of the Akatsuki, as he did take control of Obito's body and all the war crimes that he actually did, would find him using the 6th path sage mode sensory abilities, and would end up just killing him, ending the series as a whole, of the War Arc series. With the War Arc now ending, and a lot more people surviving, mainly like Neji and stuff, as none of that big fights would happen, as the other Kage wouldn't have been revived, and Naruto and Sasuke, or mainly Naruto in this instance, would be congratulated as the heroes who saved the world from Madara Uchiha and the fully ending of the world. With all the villagers now having to elect a new Hokage, as they all died in the battle against Madara, Kakashi would be inevitably elected as the 6th Hokage, and because he did not lose his Sharingan, he wouldn't have the need to nearly turn down the position of being the 6th Hokage, as in the original, he thought that he was too weak after losing his Sharingan, but because that's not an issue here, he would still inevitably accept the position. Years later as well, Naruto would also be elected as the 7th Hokage, but we'll get into that another day. With that ends the story as a whole, and life would carry on with Naruto marrying Hinata and having their firstborn child named Tanjiro, and he would be born as well with the Demon Slayer mark. And Sasuke and Sakura would also end up getting married, as Sakura was in a much better eye for Sasuke, as she was much stronger. She wasn't a fangirl for almost all of the time, didn't like try to hunt him down and stuff, some weird reasons, and she would inevitably give birth to Sarada. And because because Sasuke, he never left the village to become a missing nin, he wouldn't have the need to go soul searching, so he would stay in the village and help raise Sarada, jeez, I can't say her name weird, who was also born with Tanjiro. And that pretty much ends it, the whole series. Himawari wouldn't be born as, or she would be born as Himawari, but she'd have the name of Yoriichi's unborn child. I'll search up her name. Yuta. She would be named Yuta. So yeah, that pretty much ends the entire series of What If Yoriichi Naruto was the reincarnation of Yoriichi. That ends it all. So I hope you guys like this. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe button if you did enjoy this series. If this does get enough support, I will probably go into Boruto for that stuff. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Goodbye.